Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, and here we are back in Watch Dogs Legion in London. We are in South London in an area called Stockwell, which is not a particularly exciting area other than it's got, as you can see, it's got things to eat, and things to eat are always good. One thing I wish in this game is that you could actually sit down with your characters. I don't know why they didn't put that in. I know there's not really a reason you would need to do that, but it would just be a nice aesthetic because you can do everything else. You can drive and you can go in boats and you can do everything else in the game. You can even get drunk and play darts. So I just wish they'd done an aesthetic where you could sit down at tables and on benches and things. But anyway, that's just me. So what's today's video? Today's video is about why gamers, not all gamers, but a lot of gamers from what I've seen, feel the urge to defend their game publishers, game developers, or games that they really like, especially the game developers or game publishers, because it's a very strange thing. And I've seen this happen online often with Bethesda games especially, and it happens with a game you're probably all aware of called Star Citizen. And it's that people just seem incapable of hearing criticisms about their favourite developers or publishers or games without going into a mega revolt, and they just can't accept that there's anything wrong with it. They have to find reasons why that's not true, even if it's obviously true, even if it's evident. They have to argue it because they have to defend these things, and I don't understand why that would be. I mean, publishers and developers aren't charities. They're not doing good works for the world or the community. They're companies just like Ford and Kellogg's and Microsoft and Sony. So why would we need to defend them? They're out to make money, which they should be, that's their job, and their commercial interests. So why would you need to defend them? It doesn't make any sense. If they do things that are wrong or aren't good, just like all companies and all people do, then we should accept that and go, yeah, that's true, but I still like the game. There's nothing wrong with liking a company or a game that there's something wrong with, or the company's made mistakes. That's fine. I mean, Watch Dogs Legion is Ubisoft, and that company's made loads of mistakes and they're pretty shit, but I love Watch Dogs Legion. It doesn't change how I feel about Watch Dogs Legion just because they've made bad decisions and some crappy games and they're generally shitty company. So you don't need to defend your games publishers or developers or the game if just because you feel you need to. If someone said something about Watch Dogs Legion, like there's no way you could sit down in a chair, I would have to agree. I'm just making a silly joke, but so I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like people think that these games will behave as if these developers or games or publishers are like football clubs, where you'll know that people will defend their club till the bitter end, even if they're in a football game and they obviously play very badly. As long as they win, they don't care. It's all about their club. But even in football, often the fans will realise that the managers made decisions that are bad, the players played badly, a player's the wrong person to be picked to go to that club, or the wrong new acquisition, and they will call it out. But in gaming, people just defend games and publishers as if they can't see there's anything wrong. And it's even weirder with a game like Star Citizen, which is a particularly weird thing because that's a Kickstarter game. It's funded by, in general, us, not me, but us. It's funded by gamers or gaming related people. They've raised 700 to 800 million pounds, which you think about what you could do with that in the world, not just in gaming, but in the world. And they should be accountable. The game's taken 12 years to make and it's still not ready for release. So, and I'm not going to comment on the ins and outs of that game particularly. I've seen tons of videos about it, but I'm not going to make comments about that particular game because I'm not knowledgeable enough. But what I will say is it doesn't matter whether the game is really good and the developers are doing their best or not. They should be open to criticism, and I think that a game that's raised nearly £800 million and taken 12 years and it's still not finished is something to criticise. It may not be everything about the game is bad. It may be a fantastic game. It may be it's taken 12 years. But there's obviously something in that that's open to debate. And that's what we need to do, because we all know that in gaming, especially we've seen it in the last couple of years, in the last 5, 6, 10 years, game developers, game publishers are quite happy to scam people. I'm not just talking about the day before kind of scam, I'm talking about dropping microtransactions, lie about what's in games, lie about how games are going to be, make these live service games that they didn't say they're going to be live service, decide to stop supporting games that were live service, etc, 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 etc. So we know game companies and game developers are quite happy to pull the wool over gamers' eyes, lie, cheat, scam, whatever. So we need to be able to ask the questions. It's important, and why anyone would be upset if somebody asks a question, I don't know. There's no point in a person who has no more knowledge than a person asking the question to defend, for example, a Bethesda game or Star Citizen, because how do you know you're right? How do you know? You're just defending a game blindly because you think you know, but you don't know. And the person, it's quite true, the person who's making the observation may not know, but then just let them make an observation, because what you need in the world, actually, what you need in all democracies is you need people to say, hang on a sec, that may not be true. Sometimes they might be wrong, but you need that, because especially, like I said, in gaming, where it's proved that there's loads of bad practices, we need people to ask the questions, and it doesn't matter whether they're always right or always wrong. And all these games I've mentioned and companies I've mentioned, there's nothing all wrong about them, but there's no question, it's things that are questionable that they do. Bethesda making the same kind of graphics in games for so long, and the problems with Starfield, and like I said, Star Citizen costing that much money and 12 years into development, it's still being developed. There's so many things in those things that can be questioned, and they don't necessarily mean there's anything bad going on, but they're questions. And questions need to be asked, not just about those games, about all games. And sometimes the questions have really good answers, sometimes they don't have answers, sometimes the answers are not the answers if we like a game or a company we want to hear, but that doesn't make them not right just because you don't want to hear the answer. Anyway, thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. Till next time, take care for now.